Hi everyone, so this week's Few Minute Tech is going to be on photography for headshots. If you would like, next week I'm going to be bringing in my camera and my tripod so that if you want a new headshot taken and you don't have a high enough quality camera or you're not comfortable with the tips that I'm about to go over, then you can come into the office. I'll be in West Chester on Tuesday and West Grove on Thursday, and I will make those dedicated days. If you guys want new headshots, then feel free to come in. We don't even have to schedule it out as a time block because this week I'm going to dedicate those 2 days to having some time for that. So if you would like, feel free to come in. Again, that's Tuesday for West Chester, Thursday for West Grove, and I'll take your photo with my tripod and we'll get in front of a nice background. But for taking the headshots, a few pointers so that if you decide to do it yourself, either now or in 5 years when you need to get it updated, I've compiled a little list of some tips that I typically go by. So the first tip is for lighting. Whenever you take your headshot, you want to make sure that the photo is well lit. The camera will operate best in high light situations, but there are a couple exceptions. You don't want to take your photo with direct sunlight or direct lighting that's harsh. So the difference between harsh lighting and soft lighting is the kind of ridges that it makes for the shadows. So if you notice a really bright sunny day, you'll have an object and its shadow will have a very clear, it's a very sharp shadow line. However, on an overcast day when there are shadows that are blurred by the clouds, that light is diffused. So when you get the diffused shadows, it makes a much better image. It also makes it, one of the biggest reasons is it reduces the amount of difference between the light spots and the dark spots in the photo. So it's a lot easier for the photo to be exposed correctly. So you don't get really bright spots in the photo and really dark spots that one or the other is too bright or too dark. So that's why it's good to have lighting that's a little blurred. Excuse me. So it's really good if you can take a photo by a window. That's one of the best places on a sunny day. So on a sunny day when the curtains are open. So that way the light is still coming in. It's very, like, especially around noon, it's very bright because the sun is out on a very nice clear day, but it's diffused because you're not immediately underneath the sun. You've got just what's the ambient light that's coming in from that window. So that's lighting. Next is composure. So when you're taking a headshot, you really don't want too much going on in the photo. You just want your image and a not distracting background. So make sure that your background is simple. It doesn't have to be plain white like your passport photos might be. It just has to be something simple. So go for patterns. Patterns are really great for headshots. So brick walls, anything that is going to be blurred out that's really far away. So if you want to take a photo outside, just try and make sure that you are close to the camera and the stuff behind you is far away so that the stuff behind you gets blurred out. It can be nice scenery and it doesn't have to be super plain. It just has to be something that isn't going to be terribly distracting. Then you also want to make sure that when you take the photo, there's ample space around your head. So you don't want to have it too closely cropped in. You want to make sure that there's a lot of room above your head and around the sides, and you also want to make sure that you get like at least your shoulders in. And the main reason why you want to make sure there's ample space is when you go to use this image later on, either on a business card or as your avatar on different websites or in any other use case scenario that you might have, you're going to find that sometimes the way that it wants to be cropped, it needs that extra space so you can get your head right where you want it. So generally try and do, like, I would say, like, I'm moving my wrong hand, that one, like roughly this amount of space around you. You definitely don't want to have it too close to your head up top, which is probably one of the most common things that happens is people will crop their photos like really close to the top of their head. But then when you want your face centered in the photo, like for avatars, for instance, if you want your face centered, but the photo's really close here and then really far down here, then you're going to get like a very, very tightly cropped image, and it's not going to look as good as if you could have gone a little further back. So keep that in mind. You'll also like think about when you're getting dressed and you're choosing what to wear. You shouldn't really go with sunglasses. You should try and make yourself look like you will be seen for when you're meeting these people, because you want to be recognizable. So don't get too terribly dolled up if that's not how you're going to look in person, because when you give out the business cards that have this photo, or when you have this photo on your website, this is how people are going to identify you. So when you give out your business card, it's got your face on your photo, the photo of your face on it, then you want to make sure that it's something where if it somehow gets passed around, like if somebody has that business card and they give it away as a referral, that that person sees your photo and the picture of your face, and that when they see you in person, like to meet up with you, that it is what they recognize as being you. And that's another reason too why you want to keep it up to date. So like every 5 years or so, you want to make sure you update that, possibly sooner than every 5 years if you can. And then there are some more advanced tips. So the rest of the stuff is less important, but a great way to get a nice amount of shadows on your face so that people can see like the definition of what your face looks like is to face a window that has that ambient light and then turn your head 45 degrees to a direction and then have the camera in front of you, because that's going to give you the light coming in from the window on the vast majority of your face, but it'll give you some shadows so that it can be a great way to make your photos very flattering, because it gives you some shadows, so it's making your face more defined, and it's also thinning you by adding some shadows to show where the contours on your face are. So that's not absolutely necessary, but it's a nice little tip to know. Also, if you are concerned about how flattering your image is, they say to try and stick your tongue to the roof of your mouth to bring up the underneath of your jaw. So if you're concerned about like having a little bit of neck showing that you don't want to show, the best trick to reduce that a little bit is to like stick your tongue against the roof of your mouth as much as you can. And then there are a couple other tricks that I can go into in person that are just a little bit more complicated about the posture. So those are the big things for today. Again, if you want me to take the photo for you, feel free to come to the office next week on Tuesday at Westchester or on Thursday at West Grove, and then I will have a little setup for people to pop in and take their photo. So I hope to see you. Have a nice weekend.